Hey everyone, welcome to the Sprint Car Hub live video. It's been a little while since we've tried to do one of these. We tried to do one, what was it, just before we went to the States about 6 weeks ago, and unfortunately it didn't quite go to plan. But we've tried a few different things tonight, and I'm really excited to actually have our first live interview. So I'm really hoping that works out really well. I can see a lot of you already in the comments. And I'm really excited for you guys to not only join the conversation with me, but also our guest, Cody Moraski, who I know a lot of you are really excited to hear from. So should be a bit of fun. We won't take all night. Good to see all the comments already. Thanks, everyone. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Please go watch on YouTube and subscribe. That would help out a lot. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. That way we can have you guys involved and have some good questions. We'll make sure to pop them on screen and you guys can check all of them out. So basically tonight what we want to do is obviously touch on Cody's career, where he's at. He'd recently raced in the States. That went pretty good for him, I thought, for his first time over there. It's super tough. So I'm really excited to hear his thoughts on all that. Also talk about his split with SRV Racing, which is kind of unexpected, I thought, after some impressive races this past season and really growing there. So I'm excited to hear, or looking forward to hearing what Cody has to say about all that. We'll obviously touch on Eastern Creek, the situation going on there, obviously because that's a hot topic right now. So we'll make sure to talk about a bit of that. And then the one thing I really wanted to get Cody on for was to preview this weekend's Red Hot Summer Shootout, the Thunder on the Downs at Hi-Tec Oils Toowoomba Speedway. I haven't been this excited for, I guess, an event that's building here in Australia for a long time. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. The field they've got for that is absolutely incredible. And it's a credit to what the guys and gals at Toowoomba are building. So should be a bit of fun. So we'll go to a quick ad break right now. We don't want to muck around tonight. So we'll go to that and we'll chat to Cody. Hey, welcome, Cody. How are you, man?
Hey, good, Toby. Really good.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on and doing this.
Yeah, I'm excited. It sounds like it's going to be really cool.
No, it is. It is a lot of fun. The first time I did this, I was super, super nervous, and I still get nervous. But it's a lot of fun, and as we go on, you'll enjoy the chat a lot more. But yeah, how are you, and what have you been up to, man?
Yeah, I've been really good. Obviously, didn't get back from the States too long ago, and I've been straight back into seat works, and I've got a lot of inserts, custom inserts done for a lot of sprint car drivers, leading up into this season. So that's really cool and keeping me busy. And yeah, look, obviously on the hunt for a drive too. So yeah, my phone has been ringing. I've been ringing, and yeah, hopefully we can work something out.
What is the Seatworks thing? I don't think a lot of people knew that. I knew you for quite a while and didn't actually know that you did the Seatworks thing. Can you explain a bit of that?
Yeah, obviously I was so busy being full time with SRV racing that I would just do them when I had the chance and when a driver needed one. And then sort of midway through last year, I took it a little bit more public. And yeah, it's a custom bead insert mixed with resin. It gives an exact imprint of the driver's body. And then you take your seat cover out, and then that is the mold to your body, fits to the seat. And it gives you the best chance possible in a crash. And it also is super comfortable.
How did you get into doing that?
I've been friends with Steve Rouse since I raced juniors, and he started doing it. He was probably the only person in Australia that was doing it. He got taught by Sharpley, and then he got way too busy. He's super successful in his business, and I took it over from him. And yeah, I've been doing it for the last couple of years now, and on a full-time basis now.
Dave Sharpley is the Sharp Advantage seats in the States. All the top guys use him. Is your stuff just exactly the same as system as what he does?
Yeah, I believe it's as good, if not better. There's a few things I prefer over the way that Dave does his, but yeah, there's no denying that Dave does some unreal work and does it for, I'd probably say almost 100% of the speedway industry over there.
Yeah.
I hope to be doing the same over here.
Let's talk a bit about your trip to the States. Obviously, it was your first time racing over there. I know you've been over there before, crewing and hanging out. How was it?
It was unreal. Honestly, if you can do anything in your life, I'd say, and you like sprint car racing or even speedway racing in general, heading over to America has got to be on the bucket list. I didn't get to Knoxville the year before, but Knoxville as well is probably the best ever sprint car event I've been to, and the way the town gets around it. The formats, the way the racing is, it's just so intense every night, whether it's a local show or whether it's an outlaw show. And yeah, the fans get every dollar worth.
And obviously, being your first time racing over there, I know from having raced, what was it, 6 or 7 years ago that I raced over there. I was qualifying well here and finishing on the podium and stuff like that. And then you go over there and they really show you how it's done. It's their tracks in their own cars, and their own rules and regulations, and it is tough. Can you talk about that and how tough it was to go racing over there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like local level racing. I landed in the first race. We ran second from seventh. So I feel like the local level racing is on par. I feel like, as you can see with Lockie, Ryan Newton heading over as well, Jamie Veal previously, it is possible to run top 10 with all stars, with the Outlaws. But yeah, the qualifying, I'd say that's probably the biggest difference to home. Hot laps, you'll always hot lap and then single car qualifier or two car qualifier. And that's probably the biggest difference to here, as the track is almost slick as where we would have it at the end of a feature race in Australia. In Australia, you're doing a 10-second lap and you're not lifting the throttle. And if you can be smooth, you're going to be fast. Whereas over there, you're trying to find every bit of moisture you can, pedal the race car, even get your wing back sometimes just to try and get a good lap in. So it shows the guys that have got good crew chiefs that have been there before, year on year, that they're going to be out of the box really fast. And that really sets your night up.
They've got different tires and wings and other bits and pieces. Was that at all, a struggle for you, or you just tried to? I mean, because you set the car up yourself too. I know you did that here. You were your own crew chief, and I guess still are. But yeah, like how was that? Playing around, trying to set up the car and things like that.
Yeah, I think the new tires probably, from all accounts, the previous tire that America was running on was a lot different to what we were running on. But I didn't feel too much of a difference, which is a good thing with the tires, I guess, eventually coming to Australia. Much of a difference. They still grow a little bit. You can still rotate yourself. You can still get tight on the cushion. The wings, I guess, flat wings. I've run flat wings in Australia before with Earhart's, and then I was on dish with SRV. I think it's 50% either way, the way you want to set your car up. But it was proven that America started breaking lap records when they went to flat wings. So I think you can get a fast on either. But I guess that's probably the only real difference. Is we're pretty lucky now in Australia that our cars are as good of a level, if not better than a lot of American cars. And that was probably the difference I saw, was the quality of gear we had at SRV was a testament to Errol and the commitment he was willing to put in. A lot of the race cars you saw at local shows, all-star shows, even outlaw shows were probably B-main cars at best over here, just on the quality of the cars. And then obviously you've got your outlaw cars that are a better tier. But Australia does a really good job at putting well-presented cars on and even quite quick cars.
It's funny you say that, because I've said that for a while. When I remember going to the States, on my own when I was 17 and crewing on Cap Henry in Ohio's his car, and looking around and seeing, crewing with the Outlaws, the All Stars, and traveling around some of the biggest and best events and seeing all the teams, and you start to actually see like some of their cars. You're like, hey, I mean, the gear is gear, but it's like there's not titanium, or there's nothing too special. The chassis or the frames all beat up, and so the panels and things like that. And you actually start to realize, hey, here in Australia, we have really good quality cars. I mean, if you look at the best car I think in the world has to be the Monty car, and man, that thing just doesn't have a dollar spared at all. And some of the top teams, even running with the Outlaws, you're like, hey, like these guys, their car, I mean, it's not bad, but it's nothing special, is it?
No, I think, when you would see Donnie come out here and absolutely annihilate everybody, lap the field at Archfield, I don't know, maybe a couple of times, but he was always on another level. And that slowly started the gap started to close. And I believe it was because everyone started stepping their gear up here. Drivers are really good. We started probably getting American motors as well. The FK shocks came in. Everyone sort of got on a fair playing field, and then you didn't see Donnie going as good as he used to. We've got really good cars. The one thing I saw, even with some outlaw cars, is obviously they race a lot, but they're so peppered and stone chipped, and half their stickers are falling off. I guess you just don't see that in Australia. We don't race that often. But everyone does keep their gear really good over here.
And let's talk about your car that you drove over there. Obviously, I think it was Lockie McHugh ran that the year before, and the opportunity came up for you. How did all that kind of come together?
Yeah, I was. I wanted to take my career to the next level. I've devoted a lot of my life to speedway, to sprint car racing. It's been my full-time job now for 5 years, and every moment of my life is either training for the race, preparing a car, which is where most of the races are won, and then even trying to take your mental game to the next level. So as I crew chief my own car here, up until previously, I wanted to see if I could learn any more. Obviously adding maybe 30 additional races to the end of the year. I thought if I can go over and help Lockie, that would be a great experience, and never thought anything more of it. Lockie decided he was going to move on and end up finding a drive with Brandon Eikenberry. And I gave him a call and said if they'd be interested. That they struggle to find a crew chief in the location they are, and consistent help. So obviously I took Jake Hodges over, who's been with me for 5-something years, and my dad, and we had our little crew going, and we had a few guys over there that were helping us out, but it was the majority of us the whole time. And it was really cool.
And obviously you were meant to, how long were you over there? You were over there for a few months.
I was like a day off 3 months, so I was pretty close.
Yeah, I was going to say
Obviously
your
with the
visa would have got
visa,
you in
yeah,
trouble. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So obviously, I remember seeing you at Knoxville when we got over there to do some stuff, and it didn't work out for you to run the nationals. What happened there?
Um, every time I hit the racetrack, I want to win. Um, if I dedicate so much of my life to this, and I want to win. I know that some days you're just not going to win against Outlaws at national. Yeah, that's going to be really hard. We'd raced there once before, and I wrecked pretty hard. We'd had a test night there, and we heard a motor, so we just didn't really get rolling. His expectations were a little bit different to mine. I was maybe a little bit more of a realist on where I believed the car speed was. I felt like I'd got as much out of it as I could. And yeah, ultimately we just sort of didn't see eye to eye on that. But yeah, if I want to win, and if I can't with the car, then there's really no point getting in the way of somebody else.
No, fair enough. But you enjoyed, I guess, your experience over there?
Yeah, I would not have a single regret over there. The experience I learned was I was so excited to get back to the equipment that I know that we've worked so hard to build speed in, because I feel like my racecraft was levels above where it had been, and I was really looking forward to taking it to Lockie and Jock and everyone else this year, and I feel like we would have been on for a few more wins than we had last year, and I felt like last year we had a decent year as well.
No, fair enough. I can see a lot of people commenting and stuff like that, but hopefully they'll stick around for the end where we do a bit more of a Q&A to listen to everyone. But you just spoke about it there. It's something I wanted to, and I'm sure everyone wants to know. It came as a bit of a shock to see you post on the internet that you've split with Errol Cosgrove and his SRV Road Freight racing team, the number 27 car that you've driven for the last few years. Straight up, what happened? Why did this happen?
Yeah, I landed off the plane. Was getting race cars ready, and Errol just came down. I'd sort of been asking what the calendar would be like for this year, and he just said that he didn't want to race this year. Plain and simple. That was about all I got out of it. He said maybe he'd be interested to run next year. He doesn't know, and he really couldn't give me an answer on that. So as I said, I've put so much of my life into this. A year off racing after I've just probably had the best season of my life, with experience wise and results wise. I don't want to wait a year. I don't know what happens in a year. Ultimately, want to find a drive, want to get back in the seat, and I want to get back on that podium.
He didn't say why he didn't want to go racing.
No, he's he's a really busy man. He's got 130 something trucks. That's a lot of employees. It's a really big business. He's got some other stuff going in his life which he's enjoying, and it's a big expense. It's not only with money but time. So I can't blame him one bit. I have no hard feelings with him. We still get along great, and I wish him all the best in what he plans on doing this year. And it's a shame. I'm really disappointed. I feel like we were going to hit the ground running, but yeah, it's the way life goes. It's racing for somebody. You never know how long it's going to last. Whether the team wants to close down, whether you're not doing a good enough job. There's a bunch of reasons why, but ultimately I didn't expect it to be as unexpected. But life plays some cards out, and you've just got to bounce back the best you can.
Yeah, it just seemed like it kind of, it came out of nowhere. And I was the same, thinking, it's what every driver tries to do that's from Australia. You need to, the first step when you're running decent is to go race in the States and get that experience over there. And I was really looking forward to, I thought you had some great runs. It's so easy to be critical of drivers when they go over. For example, even Jamie Veal, who's had a lot of success when he goes over. He's even run on the podium with the Outlaws. he struggled this year. And at the same time, how he did was actually quite good in general, because you're running with good guys, by his standards, absolutely not. But in general, he is fast and had some good performances. And I thought the same for yourself, that especially for your first time and jumping in, and like you said, running second from seventh, your first night out at a smaller show, but it really isn't easy. But either way, you gain so much experience, and I did it in 2015. I remember coming back and racing this first weekend that's coming up at Toowoomba, and I think I finished third to Stephen Lyons, and I remember coming back and just thinking, man, I'm on the ball here. Like the week before I just raced with the Outlaws, in California, and then the next year I actually junked it in the feature, but at one point I got to the lead past Robbie Farr. And what I mean is you're coming into the season just ready to go, and everyone else is like, how do I drive this thing again? Getting up to speed. I was excited to see what you were going to do, and must have been a real kick in the guts that you're like, I actually don't even know when I'm going to be racing anymore.
Yeah, and you go to America, like you said, I ran 7th to 2nd, which I would have won that one, obviously. But yeah, you get your ass handed to you many nights. I raced only 20, maybe 23 races over here last year, and then in America I raced over 30 in half the amount of time. You get back from the States. I ran 8th at Atomic with the All Stars, and Tyler Courtney was the next card for me to pass. I ran from near dead last. So you have some good runs like that, and you go, well, maybe I can do this. Like maybe I can go to America. Maybe I can be one of the guys that like James. Like he's absolutely killing it lately, and that's such a long way to go. But even just that little bit of confidence boost helps over in Australia, I feel.
Yeah. So obviously you're out of a ride. You've just come off all that experience that you just spoke about. What is your next step? Like, what have you done since? Was it kind of a chance for you to reflect and think, hey, I want to have a break? Or are you thinking, I just want to get in the next thing I can and go racing? Or are you waiting for a good seat? What's been happening with all that?
Yeah, I don't want to wait. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I'm a terrible spectator. I watched enough A-Mains, Kings Royal, Million. I don't need to watch any more of them. Yeah, I want to be in the seat as soon as I can. I feel grateful to have some phone calls, pretty much straight away, of some possibilities to fill some, some part-time races here and there. It's a hard decision. I don't want to, jump at a part-time thing, and then there's a potential for something that can, either take me through the year or even further than that. As it's not something. I was pretty fortunate when I hopped in Errol's car from Earhart's. We were pretty much on, running top 3 every night, and we sort of bounced, and we had that speed straight away. I don't believe the quality of cars we have currently, with everybody being able to travel again, that you can do that so easily. So it takes a few years. Like ECP's winning a bunch of races, Monty's winning a bunch of races. They've been around for 15 years and more. So yeah, it's hard to jump in something and be fast straight away. I don't want to hop in something and it not be a car that can win a race. I don't want to sound like I think I should be in the world's best gear, but I don't want to be defeated before I even take the green,
Yeah. No, I understand. And I'm sure the people listening do. Man, we've got a lot of comments coming through. So it's you'll have to go read them later, but we'll definitely go over them. Okay. We'll ask for comments later on. So yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying. The other thing that I don't think people realize is, every race team's different. From my personal perspective, we always had a professional looking car with, Hog's Breath on it, or other sponsors, Valvoline and what have you. And I think people assume that, oh, wow, they've got unlimited budget and unlimited, it's not just money, but like a situation. Oh yeah, we're going racing here no matter what. And really, there's not that many rides out there that are like that. Even a Creaky Motorsport or a Monty, they don't do every race and they don't travel everywhere. Everyone's got limitations with what they do, and there's really, I mean, other than, I mean, there was and it doesn't always last that long, but Brock Hallett's Jock Goodyear's racing a lot, Lockie McHugh moved around a fair bit, but there's not that many cars that are at every race. So there's that sort of limitation. And then there's also, in your case, you are your own crew chief. And I don't know any other major team that kind of has that sort of a situation. And I'm not sure how many fans or, the Speedway sprint car racing industry know that was your setup, that you were actually the one prepping and setting up the car. So I think, you should hold your head high with kind of what you achieved. And I mean, your drives at the Red Hot Summer Shootout last year at Toowoomba were incredible. You must feel confident to be able to step into something. I never really set my own car up as though I try to be as involved as possible, but you must have a lot of confidence to be able to step into just about anything that can come up and get the most out of it, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I was fortunate when, we first started racing sprint cars in the family deal that, I had a good few people around me that gave me the pretty much keep it simple, stupid stuff. Basic setups, work on the driver. If you can, if you can get the car to 70%, the driver better be able to do the next 30%, So, I learned from there. And Graham Earhart, when I was driving for Laurie Earhart, we got along really well. Towards the end there, we were just as fast as I feel like in SRV. And he was the crew chief. And then when I ended up going to SRV, he had no one. It was a brand new team. So there was no one else in the country available as a crew chief. And I thought, well, I'll just see how we go. And the results started rolling. I was fortunate to have Jake Hodges come with me through Earhart's, and that was nice, so that I didn't have to worry about the car, changes to be made. He could do those, but the decisions were ultimately mine until a few months ago, or until a few months into the last season. I think it was the Red Hot Summer Shootout. Adam and I were working really, really close together. And I feel like we were sort of getting to a point where he could have been the crew chief and I could just be the driver. And I feel like we could both then, find those little extra few percent on performance and take it to the next level.
So I imagine if you are to, when you find something, I imagine those guys will want to go with you.
Yeah, Adam, Jake's going to go over and work for Nick Speed with ECP, and I'm pumped for him. He's it seems like he's going to go to America.
That'll be a good experience for him.
Yeah, I feel like he can get some wins there, and he's got an opportunity to go back over next year to America. His dreams to be a full-time crew chief over there, so love to see him following his dreams and sort of working towards that. And then Adam, I'm super appreciative that he decided. He's had some calls to go work, and he's confident we're going to find something, and we're going to get back to the top step, which is really, really nice.
So obviously this weekend, and we'll preview it a bit later on, the Thunder on the Downs race, which has got an incredible field. And hey, I know what it's like to miss races, and as a fan now, I hate to think that you're not going to be out there, because I really feel like you've beat all these guys before at that track. It sucks that you're not going to. Are you going to be there at all? Like, are you going to go watch or?
Yeah. I love the sport. I only hope that the sport goes in the right direction. There's been ups and downs lately, but I feel like Toowoomba are doing an incredible job. There's a few other tracks around that are doing insane jobs as well. The money on the line, the car counts now. With the New South Wales deal, is going to be insane this year. So I'm bummed to miss the first one, maybe the first three. I hope I don't have to miss any more than that. But I'm gonna be there to watch. I'm gonna be. I expect to see a few of the usuals up the front, and I hope that the track can provide a really good race. And I'll be a fan.
I'm sure they will. It'll be a lot of fun. Switching gears a little bit, obviously, you would have heard. I mean, it's gone nuts lately, and we don't have to talk about it too much, but I told people we'd touch on it. The whole Eastern Creek Speedway situation, I guess. You may have seen my video that I made, and obviously there's been a lot of stuff on our Sprint Car Hub socials of people talking about it. I just wanted to get a quick word. Obviously, you're a driver and you're involved, and it affects you. What's your thoughts on what's happening at Eastern Creek?
Yeah, I went down when it first opened, and I was really, I just wasn't excited. It just wasn't what it should have been. It doesn't look like a speedway track. The track shape isn't what makes good racing. It's probably too big for a majority of motors here. After spending, that time in America, we're in cornfields with a banked racetrack, with a grandstand and a fence that just goes down the front straightaway. I couldn't imagine it'd cost more than a few million to build, not even $1 million, maybe.
Yeah.
Some of these. Yeah. And they're some of the best racetracks in the world. So for whatever the number is now that it costs to build and fix, I'm not surprised that the Kellys didn't want to re-sign a lease. I wouldn't expect anybody else to. I do remember briefly looking at the lease terms back when it was all. It may have been a video you posted. I did have a little look myself, but
yeah.
I don't know anybody in their right mind that would sign a lease to a business like that with your arms so tied in the current economy.
Yeah. No, it's good to hear kind of what you thought. Obviously, you didn't get to run there for other reasons, but yeah, just like I said, I wanted to touch on it, and hopefully we do see it.
Hopefully,
back,
somebody comes in. I'd like to say it's got a lot of potential, but it doesn't really. They need to put a lot more banking in it. It's shelved off, which never provides good racing. Yeah.
Well, I think we lost you for a bit there. Oh, we lost you. We're good. You're back.
I'm back.
You're back. Yeah. Obviously, no, that's a good point.
Having something there would be, super important. And even for Queensland-based cars, it's a long trek to Warrnambool or to Victoria to SRA races. Sydney always provided a stop, whether it was on the way or the way back, which for teams that have got hired drivers, crew chiefs, like they need to be making money every chance they get. And if they got to drive 15, 20 hours, it'd be nice if you could have a stop halfway.
Yeah, that's what I mean, there was so much in my video that I actually, there was even more problems that I defects that I didn't mention. There were more details and overlays and things that I could have put in the video that I didn't. Even still went for like 21 minutes. But I don't think people realize that was one thing I didn't really say was to go from Toowoomba, which is I guess in line with Brisbane or a bit further, to the next track that races sprint car racing consistently, I guess. Would be Avalon, and you're looking at like almost 20 hours of driving. So for people who are maybe on the West Coast or people in the States or New Zealand who are watching this, whenever they watch it, the landscape of Australian sprint car racing, and I say sprint car racing because speedway cars can run at other races. There are other country tracks and venues around.
Sedans really thrive at those sort of tracks.
Yeah, and they thrive at it, and that's great for them. And I've seen some of the comments. I read all our YouTube comments and that, and I saw some people say, you only talk about sprint car racing. Well, it is Sprint Car Hub, and saying that the heart of, I was saying about how this needed to be the proud home of Australian Speedway, and it wasn't taking anything away from the country tracks. It was more that, if you want people to travel from interstate, internationally, if you want the best drivers and cars and the biggest events and something to really put our sport on the map and really, I guess, make it help it to thrive, we need a world-class venue for that. And again, I understand the heart of Speedway is at country tracks and those smaller venues, but we needed this to be the home to the Mecca, the Taj Mahal for
Yeah.
for Speedway racing. It's a shame. I think I get what you're saying about the track shelved off, and I mean it's been like that the whole time that I've seen it, and had so many other drivers. I actually remember one of the first weekends I went, Robbie Farr was the one that he goes, man, check this out. Look, it just kind of levels out a bit up the top. But I mean, what I said and what I thought was it's got potential. Do you think it's got potential?
I mean, there's $100 million worth of potential there. You just got to find it and make it work. But yeah, there's no doubt that sedan racing is massive in this country, just as late model racing and sedan racing in America is huge. It seems like sedans thrive at those country tracks. They've got a great car count around those areas. But I remember racing juniors, and there's a photo just behind me there at Archerfield Speedway. And one of the best times I looked forward to each year was racing at World Series, because you got to put your talent in front of a huge crowd. At those country tracks, you don't really have that opportunity as much. So I think, for national titles and stuff, it's great to have such a cool venue, close to cities that bring in a different crowd, even potential new sponsors that can only help the sport grow.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true, man. But yeah, I just, I feel like with our content, and I feel like the general vibe is as if it's interpreted that I want to be negative about a speedway or something like that. But I really wanted to make that video to show people what's going on at Eastern Creek, and we got some footage here now, that some of our drone stuff for anyone who hasn't been there or hasn't seen all around the venue. We've got a few minutes here playing of to show you around the setup. What, you only went there once?
Yeah, I went there for the opening night.
Okay.
And I didn't race. I only just went there to watch. I was really interested to see what the new venue turned out like, but it just didn't really look like a race, like a speedway. I don't believe.
What do you mean by that? What do you?
I mean, look, the grandstands. You want some high banks that you can park your chairs on. We don't need grandstands. Bar maybe the main straightaway. You want to be a little bit back from the track. You don't want to get covered in mud every race until it slickens off, and then you're getting covered in dust. The way you enter the venue. Look, the bitumen pits was really cool. That's a big positive. But I think we could have had 10 speedways built that would have helped the country and the sport way more than one that was, just terribly spent.
That is a really good statement, and I wish I put that in my video. That is so true. To think that, even if it was $10 million, I mean, like you
which
said
is
before,
still
some of the race tracks,
crazy amount.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that goes to show you where we are and what things cost and how much things can get stuffed up. But no, I'm really glad you said kind of what you thought there. Personally, I think it's got a lot of potential and it can be good. And I just hope that it does get fixed up and gets the attention it needs. And like you said, I looked at, like, you would have seen from my videos that I was like, I don't know how anyone can run this and sign up for it and expect it to work. So I do have a bit of sympathy for him, but at the same time, I guess that's what you signed up for. But hopefully we can get that back, and it will only be good for the sport to see racing back in Sydney. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so let's move on a bit. I'll put up this graphic right here. Let's talk about the Thunder on the Downs coming up. We're going to talk. We got over 500 people watching. That's pretty cool, and a lot of comments coming through. And we're almost up to our Q&A. If you guys want to check out sprintcarhub.com and get something online, if it comes through while we're on this live chat, I'll make sure to give you guys a shout out. So make sure you grab your gear, whether it's a hoodie, a hat, a drink bottle, yeah, go check out sprinkerhub.com and I'll give you a shout out while we're chatting here. I'm sure Cody won't mind. Are you having fun? Are you enjoying it? We've done it for 40 minutes.
Oh, it's flying by. No, that's cool. I'm looking forward to getting to some questions and see what everyone's been saying.
Yeah. Yeah, the time does go pretty quick. Yeah, Thunder on the Downs, obviously a huge event that they're building up at Toowoomba. Like you said before, you're a bit bummed that you're going to miss out, I guess.
Yeah, but look, for the sport isn't just me. I love to see a good race, whether I'm in it or not. I love watching outlaw races. If it's a good race, then it's always a good watch. Toowoomba's been consistently putting on great racetracks, and it just shows a good surface and a good shape provide great racing, and it really doesn't matter what else is around. I think Ryan and Sharon do a great job there. Obviously, their promoting is, in this century. It's in color TV. It's on Facebook. It's where it needs to be to get the fans there. And considering the location, I was impressed by some of those crowd numbers last year.
Yeah. What is it about Toowoomba to you that makes it good racing?
It gets on the fence. It gets on the fence and you can slide people. Like, there's probably only two things you want, and even in America, I wanted the same things. Anytime there was a curve and you could slide somebody, the racing was always good. When there was no curve, we were at Lernerville, and there was no curve, and it was slick from the top, from the bottom to the top in hot laps. I think it was an all right race. Larson won, typical, but it was through the middle. It was just, I don't think I put maybe more than 5% throttle on that whole race. That's how slick it was. So as a driver, you want to be able to pedal your race car and show your racecraft, but get up into some moisture and get rolling and show the fans some speed, but then also be able to slow the race up enough to move around and slide some cars.
You are incredibly fast there during qualifying. Can you give the people watching at home an insight into what made you, or makes you, I'm sure you'll get back out there, what makes you so fast in qualifying?
I mean, it's motorsport. So having a great motor always helps. But you want to have a free race car, and by free, you don't want to have to turn left too much, which is a bizarre concept for maybe some people to understand. But you want to be pretty neutral in the steering. The car will rotate itself. We run stagger, which is the difference between the left and the right rear tire. So if you've got a good amount of stagger, you've got the right gear in, and you can give minimal steering input and flow the car really nicely, it's going to give you a good lap. Toowoomba's a little bit different because of 3 and 4 tightening off. It's a benefit if you run some laps there. 1 and 2, you can wind your speed up. If you can get out of 4 pretty nicely, it's going to be a quick lap.
You're going to be there both nights? Oh, sorry, all 3 nights?
Yeah. Hopefully in a race car the next week. But
yeah.
Man can dream.
Let's talk a bit about the lineup. Let me get rid of this here. This is my graphic. I can see it doesn't fit that great, but we're on. Obviously, an incredible lineup of cars, and not everyone is there for every round. But let's go through some of kind of what you expect. Again, it almost sucks to be doing this with you because you really should be out there. But let's talk about some of these drivers. First up, the A1 Jock Goodyear. Personally, before you say anything, I feel like he's the guy to beat. What do you think?
I mean, him and Hayden have been on a roll, especially last year at Perth. That car just looked like somebody was driving an RC car. Like, it just looked like it was on rails. It was incredible to watch. I think he's been good there, but I don't think he's his best at Toowoomba. I expect probably Lockie and Ian to be probably those two guys to be fighting for the lead, I think.
Why Ian?
Ian's come off a really good year in America. Ian ran second to me at the Red Hot. Obviously, DTM was starting.
And he has won a race there.
Sorry?
He has won a race there as well.
At Toowoomba?
Yeah. When was it? I'm sure he won a race there last year. At some point.
I couldn't recall. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, he's always had great car speed there. And obviously, what I felt like I learned in America, any guy that's coming back from there, even Ryan Newton, yeah, you're going to have that leg up, especially so early in the season here.
That's another guy. I think it was one of the last weekends we went there that we filmed with Ryan Newton. People can check that video out on our YouTube channel. And being so young, I was so impressed with the way he drove and his car control. And obviously, coming off a season, having an off season for us and racing over in Pennsylvania and that, like you'd have to think he's going to be super fast, hey?
Yeah, that racing in PA is tough too. And I mean, the tracks are totally different to what we have here. But yeah, seat time just can't be replicated by anything else. You've seen it with J-Mac. You've seen it with the Madsons, Veerley as well. You know, every time they come back from America, they're always a step above.
Obviously, you've raced there and done really well and gotten beaten by a lot of these guys. We just had an order come through. Who's this? We'll check it out in a second. But there's a sorry to interrupt. Who is it? It is Keely Moraski. Do you know them?
Yeah, cousin. There you go. Look at that.
There you go. She gets a shout out. She bought a summer hat. Thanks for that, Keely. Yeah, so if anyone wants to buy something while we're live, definitely you're going to get a shout out. So yeah, please jump on to springcarhub.com. So obviously, yeah, guys like Jock, Ian Madsen, Brock Hallett, classic winner, another classic winner in Lockie McHugh. The last three Australian champions running, obviously Jock, the current champion, Marcus before that, and then Veal before that. Veal coming off, again, not his best time in the States, but obviously, you know, anyone who thinks he's not going to be fast, he's got rocks in their head. You got guys like Jai Corbett, who spent some time in the States crewing. I did that when I was racing, and I felt like I came back, although you weren't in the car. Actually, he did race once.
Yeah, he ran 2 nights.
Okay, 2 nights. Yeah, no, he was I thought super impressive last year, and I'm excited to see what he does coming back here, having learnt so much. Who else have we got? Obviously, guys like Luke Oldfield, who's always super fast. Who else have we got there? Is there anyone else that kind of stands out to you that you're really interested, like a Tate Frost or maybe a Jordan Charge or something like that you're excited to see how they go?
It's been good to see Jordan Charge sort of step up. I think he's now running for is it Hutchins? So it'll be cool to see what he can do with a little bit more budget. And obviously, you know, doing a little bit more traveling. He's always been impressive at home. And then also Marcus Dumsney as well after, you know, the incident last year. It'll be interesting to see how he can rebound. I know he was looking forward to heading to America once again, and obviously couldn't do that. But
yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to. I actually didn't notice Marcus was going until it's
a huge list. It really is.
Yeah, it's almost like unexpected for I guess this time of year, and you're like, oh, you know, having raced in Sydney, you know, we'd see 60 or 70 cars a few years back, and you just remember it being a huge list, and it was pretty stacked, but you just kind of don't expect it. You know, I guess this early on in the year and to be that good. We got another order from Chris Dayton. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, everyone's jumping onto the. What's that?
It's a testament as well to the teams in Australia. A lot of the time, you know, with the All Stars, even some outlaw stuff, they struggle to get 30 cars. Where I don't know many races that, you know, we aren't getting 30 cars, especially at Toowoomba. And then, you know, the Knoxville is, you know, always a huge car count, but the Classic goes near that every year. So, yeah, it's a privilege to be in Australia. The racetracks are unreal, and the food's way better here too.
I know. Hey, we're spending some time over there when we're only there for like 10 days this year, and hanging out with some friends that we made, and they asked us about the food and differences here in Australia, and it's like, I don't know what it is about their food. It's just not fresh, just not good.
No.
But anyway, so let's move on. I know there's a lot of comments coming through and things popping up on my phone, so I'm really excited to start reading. Let me get rid of some of these banners and go back to just us two. So let's start to read some of the comments. If you got a question, we'll check it out, and I'll click on one and make sure it pops up. There you go. It's not a question, but Brownie says Ian won the final night of the Easter Trail at Toowoomba, I believe it was. I knew he won a race.
Yeah. I didn't finish. I didn't finish, so I try and write that out of the book.
Yeah, it doesn't count. There you go. Cheers for the shout out from Chris, CJ Dayton. Yeah, you're going to enjoy your hat, man. Thanks so much for the support. Anyone who wants to, jump on to sprintcarhub.com and grab your stuff. Cody, here we go. Cody, what was your favorite and least favorite track in the States? That's a good question.
Eldora or Atomic. They were both banged.
Favorite.
I didn't get. Hey, they were my favorite.
Your favorite, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. Eldora didn't widen up. You know, as it typically would. But that was such an unreal place to run. And Atomic was like Toowoomba on steroids. The banking was extreme. It had a gnarly curb that was inconsistent the whole way around. So you really had to commit. And I think at Atomic I ran like 23rd to 8th or something. So that was really cool. Awesome. Least favorite track, probably Fremont.
Really? Why? Just so slick, and it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, they've been battling tracks taking rubber there. I wish over the years, you know, John swapped the water truck, because often, you know, there was no water at Fremont. There was always water at Archerfield. You could never get it the right way. But, it's not a fun racetrack, that's for sure.
All right, there you go. Eldora and Atomic is favorite and didn't like Fremont. All right, we're gonna get a heap of questions here, but hopefully we can get through a lot of them. We've been on for 53 minutes. I don't know how long. I never asked you before we started how long you want to stay on, but
I'm happy to answer some questions. I'm actually out of the job currently, so
yeah. Here we go. Peter says, "Whatever happened to the RX-7? Was keen to see you run in mods." I can't believe what I'm talking about.
That was so I raced junior sedans, and obviously like natural progression would be towards a sedan of some sort. My dad raced an RX-7 on methanol, shot like meter long flames. So that was really cool. Unfortunately, he rolled the front stretch of Toowoomba and never raced again, which is a shame.
There you go. Here we go. You can answer this one. I'll leave it to you. Why did Cody not race at Archerfield for the last bit of the season?
I was in America.
There you go. Good answer. Paul, who does Cody see? I should read these before I put them up. Who does Cody see in the young up-and-comers around the country that in 5 years in the right seat could be fighting for the podium steps? It's a good question.
Yeah, I'd say Jai Corbett's got some speed. He can't seem to put it all together yet, but at his age, that's really cool to see. Again, Jordan Charge, he seems like he's been racing a sprint car for years, but he's still so young. I went down and did an insert for him. So that's really cool to see him in a drive where hopefully he can, you know, take that with both hands and rise to another level.
Is a good question. Obviously, you're from around this area. Opinions on Archerfield closing down and the greater Brisbane area not having a home speedway?
Yeah, look, ever since I can remember, Archerfield was closing down, so it was inevitable. It's just the way the world goes, which is a shame. But I'd like to see a track at maybe Willowbank. That'd be cool. Still probably a little bit too far out to get the numbers of crowds that we were used to.
I was going to say that I raced go-karts there, and I thought that's maybe a bit far, although they've got their own little, obviously there's the Queensland Raceway and the drags, what is it, Willowbank, and well, what we called, Ipswich karting track. But yeah, maybe is that a bit too far inland away from Brisbane?
It's not really. It's just slightly out from where you're going to capture like a lot of people from like Brisbane City, but they've started Perth having a speedway next to a drag strip, Sydney now having a speedway next to a drag strip. They really can't state that the dust is going to be an issue, so I'd like to see something there. And the fact that it's zoned for motorsport means that longevity it shouldn't get closed down, which would be nice.
Oh, awesome! That's a really well put together. We got another order from Matt Muir. Sorry to annoy you with orders, but people love it. Matt Muir from Mardella, Western Australia. Just bought a koozie and a t-shirt. Thank you, Matt. So, all right,
I got one of your
let's move on.
Here, and
you did buy a beanie
in America a lot. Yeah, it's a good beanie.
Thank you. That was not
I struggle with
I think
little bit of temperature.
I remember, if I remember this right, what was it? You paid me, and I think you gave me like $50, and I think, what are they, 30, and something like that. And you're like, just keep the change. I'm like, no, I'm not keeping the change. And then it was either like the next night or like later on that night or something like that. And I think your dad wanted a hat or something. Or I don't know. He wanted something, and he's like,
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it went. And I'm like, okay, he's done something nice to me. I can't charge you now for what I'm just kidding. But either way, no, I appreciate the support. And it's actually really surprising. If I can go off on a bit of a tangent, but even when we went to like the classic fan day, I have Corey Bryson, who I race with in America, him come up and, hey man, I need to grab a hat. And I remember asking Chase Randall for an interview the night before, and he's like, oh, not right now. I'm like, all right. And then the next day he comes over and he's like a kid wanting to buy some merchandise at our stall. And I'm like, hey, can we do an interview? He's like, oh, yeah, sure. And he wanted to, but yeah, it's actually surprising. What I'm getting at is it's surprising how many drivers and teams and people within the industry actually want. It's not just fans,
I mean, look, we love supporting what you do because it helps the sport in general. And the fact that it's pretty minimalistic, doesn't have a lot of stuff going on. We all love the look of a sprint car. It's a win.
Yeah. That's kind of, and the thing is, like, even doing this, we got like 500 people watching. People can, like, the video I did over the weekend, which I spent all weekend making, and more, it's got like over 40,000 views. And I love doing that stuff, but to, I guess, pay the bills and make it all make sense, I don't want to do like a Patreon or, make people pay to watch something like this. So for me, it's like, at least if you buy merchandise, you're actually getting something physical to keep, and that's quality. And you're helping us to keep making this content that you're already watching. So that's enough on that. That's not really a question. Also, we got, there's a good one. What did you think of the Perth Motorplex?
I struggled, which was a shame. Love the venue. I ran a Formula 500 over there a few years ago. After running America a lot of the tracks are near Perth sized or bigger. So for the title, at least, we made the wrong decision. We were bad in we were, a few tenths off Veal in qualifying, which I think everybody was. We went the wrong way, and we're just chasing our tail the whole weekend. And, we ended up actually back where we qualified, and I was the best I'd felt there. So, it's not easy to go to racetracks you haven't been to before. And even if you talk to the right people, it does take time to get acclimatized.
But it is a pretty cool facility, hey?
Oh, it's without a doubt the best facility in Australia, and it should have been an exact replica in Sydney, and I don't see why not. Maybe just downsize it slightly.
Yeah, exactly. I think David is asking, would you drive for an interstate team?
Yeah, I'd love to even have the opportunity to come and either be the crew chief myself or arrive and drive and see what I can bring to the team. Planes makes life so easy these days. It's not out of the options for sure.
We don't have these in Australia, but would you ever race non-wing 410s?
I think I said yes when I was in America watching at Lawrenceburg. I think my dad put a stop to that, but they're unreal. It just showcases what a raw form of motorsport sprint car racing is, and I'd love to see 100%. Maybe wingless with something a little bit more powerful, but anyway, that's a different topic.
I remember going to Calistoga to watch in 2015, and I had met Carson Macedo, and we were he just said, "Hey, let's just hang out for a few days." So we're driving around California, and I remember standing on top of a trailer watching a racing with him, and my first time. Everything I've ever done is around winged 410s, but to see non-wings, I guess, up close and personal, I was like, okay, that's kind of probably where I draw the line. I'm like, I don't know that I would want to race that. Especially for me at the time, I knew my eyesight wasn't good. And I was just like, man, these guys are on the ball, and you can't mess up in these things because they're just like violent wrecks. So they
don't have the wing to slow them down, I think, is the main thing. Like, there's no crumple zone and there's nothing just to just sort of slow your roll. Without it turning into a 10 or 15 roll down the front stretch.
Yeah. No, that's true. I don't know. They're scary. Here we go. This is funny because you actually told me, I think, before we started, where you're going to polish your head. How much Mr. Sheen you use on that head? That is
there's a bit head on there. Yeah, there's a bit.
Why do you shave your head?
Unreal. It's the better option.
Yeah, that's
there
why
there was about probably 100 strands left, and I think the rest of the population probably has 10,000. So, this was the move. I just switched the hair from the top to the bottom.
Looks great.
I've been fast ever since.
There you go. It works. All right. What's your here? I know a lot of people have been asking me about this. Oh, we just got a new order. Hold on a sec. Who is it? It's updating. Sorry, everyone.
You need some bells or some balloons or something.
I know. Well, I'm trying to keep it off there so it's not on my computer. Vicky Moraski, man, your whole family's bought something now, pretty much, right? Just your sister Nicole needs to buy something. I don't know who this is. What's your opinion on the new Gladstone Speedway built by Bob McCosker, the super sedan driver?
It looks really cool. I think you can tell it's built by a sedan driver. It doesn't look like it's wide enough or it's too wide, but the surface is too narrow to be able to put good slide jobs on. So I think it might be. We'll see. They're putting some money up. It should be really cool. I saw Jaden Peacock tested there. Seemed like it was pretty hard on tires, but it should be good.
You're a hard man to please.
I just want to pound the curve. It's so much fun.
Yeah. No, I hear. Hopefully, a lot of people have been asking me about that, and saying, "Oh, why don't you do this and do that?" I had someone ask me about Wagga down here, the track here, get it going again, and people messaging me all the time, say this, say that, But I have seen that they're putting up.
I've heard maybe like $5 million to build that complete venue. Again, tell me why we've got $100 million one, and it's. Probably already put better racing on.
I got told only a couple nights ago by someone that would know. It's people thought I was making up 100 million because it was originally meant I found an article it was meant to be 30 million. This is Eastern Creek Speedway, by the way. And then it became kind of common knowledge that it was 40 million. And then it just shot up to 80 million. And then I said almost a year ago that it's around 100 million, and everyone's like, it's not $100 million speedway. I spoke to someone who would know very well. Yeah, close to 110. So, and it's still got problems. So, kind of almost don't want to think about what could have been built for, or how many speedways could be built for, not even a tenth of that. Yeah, so hopefully, Gladstone goes well, and I would love to check it out. I've got people saying, "Would you go there?" And unfortunately, this stuff costs money to do. I would love to be there. So if the people from Gladstone are watching, we'd love to do a video and show our tens of thousands of people. Love to show them the new track. We've got a lot of orders coming through now, which is awesome. I'll just mention it. There's Cheryl Jackson and Alita Parry in the last couple of minutes. So thank you very much for supporting what we do, guys. It means a lot. Next question. Did you enjoy I-55 and will you be traveling to Bordertown?
Bordertown's the new one in SA, is it? Yeah, that looks really cool. Is that going to be a copy of I-55? Is this the right one?
Yeah, man. Did you watch my video or what?
Yeah. Look, I've been to a lot of racetracks now. It's a privilege, actually. I-55, the shape was really cool. It's got terrible air, and America has really bad air, and that's like air density, and your motors don't run any good when it's got a really high air density. I-55 was at like 4,500 feet, whereas at Toowoomba, at Warrnambool, we can be at 0 feet. So you can imagine the motors felt probably like a 360 or worse. But yeah, it was still a cool track. The rain sort of hindered the first night, but it widened out and Larson put on probably the best race I've ever seen in my life. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love I-55. I've been there a couple times. Once filming, was it last year? And I went there in 2014 crewing for Joey Saldana and couldn't believe the place. A lot of these tracks aren't the best venues. Like, that's what people, I think, don't realize. It's not that they're the greatest venues, and I'm not talking specifically about I-55. I'm sure it's in the middle, but yeah, they're just incredible racetracks, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's what I was sort of saying about Toowoomba. It's the shape and it's the surface. That's what people come. That's what the races come for. That's what the fans come for. The toilet blocks are nice. The concessions are even better. Safety is nice as well, and we're lucky to have quite nice safety in Australia. But you got to get the track shape right and the track surface right, and then the rest will follow.
100%. I totally agree. The races, and I know of other tracks, and I won't name them, but I know they want sprint cars to be successful at their tracks. If you provide a proper sprint car racing track, then the races will come. And if the races come, just like what's happening at Toowoomba, then the crowd will come, and then can build on something. Toowoomba is the perfect example of what they did there.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it shows then, Warrnambool's been the premier track in the country for a lot of years, and then a change in surface, and suddenly it's one of the worst tracks to race on, with the way it takes rubber so quickly. So yeah, you can see how quickly Sydney went pear-shaped, I guess.
Yeah, and I will say Premier have done an incredible job to bring it back and had a successful classic. So just goes to show you it's not easy, but they've done a lot of work. I'm trying not to avoid any questions that people have put up. You can answer this one however you want. Why weren't you allowed at Eastern Creek?
We were too busy racing in Queensland.
There you go. Good answer. There you go. Cody Moraski, what's your favorite track in Australia? Also, would you run ECS when open?
I don't even know if that's a debatable question. Toowoomba, there's just nothing else beats it. Yeah, I would. I mean, I need a car to drive, but I'd race anywhere in the country. Yeah, hopefully they can work on the shape of it. If they can work on those water issues and probably get somebody to run it, then yeah, that'd be cool.
You're a race car driver. I'm sure you want to be there. We just got an order, another one from Brendan McCarthy. Thank you, Brendan. Where's he from? Brendan is from Queensland. We've got a lot of orders from Queensland. I would say Queensland and then WA are where we get most of our orders from. So thank you, everyone from all around Australia, New Zealand, the States. There's so many people everywhere. Here we go.
I found a good
Cody,
one.
if you are...
I found a good one, but we'll get to it. I found a good one. We'll get to it.
All right. Cody, if you were asked to be a pit reporter for Toowoomba, would you do it as your knowledge of cars and drivers? I'm assuming they appreciate your knowledge of cars and drivers. I would hope you say no, because that's kind of my job in 2 nights' time. But
yeah, Toby's doing such a good job of it. So I have no need to.
He's right.
And I still plan on being a race car driver. But I love the sport. I want to see it in the best light and the best direction. I think social media, the way Sprint Car Hub does it, and the few guys in America that do it, it's sort of the way of the future and putting it in the right light. So, yeah, never say never, but I still want to be a race car driver for the interim.
No, very good. I was actually thinking during the week, I'm like, oh, it would be good in the Sprint Car Hub Tech Center. Maybe we can get you in with my whiteboard, and we can maybe we can talk about a few things throughout the night if you're not too busy race fanning on the weekend.
I guess, yeah, if some people put it in the chat and they want to see me, I don't want to be in too many people's faces. But yeah, if it's wanted, I'd happily do it.
Very good. All right. Someone asked, why did Eastern Creek Speedway close? We don't have to talk about that. You can watch my last video. I thought everyone else.
There's a question about Kyle Larson there.
Okay, we'll get to that. For me, Willowbank is great. Gladstone. Sorry, man. I'm like reading them as we go.
Yeah, I think Willowbank would be a great location.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be cool. Jesse Addard, what is your opinion on hard tires and what Australia runs?
The left rear tires are too soft.
Why is that? For race fans? Why do you say
that? We could run a left rear all night in America to qualify and to feature race if you needed that amount of stagger. That would be the only reason you changed. In Australia, it often if the track goes rubber down and it's up against the fence, you'll notice that generally it's the left rears that are laying the rubber, and the car moves down about a car width, and then the right rear gets in the rubber, and then the racing just becomes a freight train. There's an indiscrepancy between our right rears to our left rears. So if our left rears were harder, we'd have an overall harder compound, and you shouldn't lay rubber as often, which the track surfaces should last longer. And then maybe Warrnambool may not have had to change the surface.
Yeah.
And then
would you like to see us just run what they run in America? Did you like those tires?
I think America is the leader, and it looks like World of Outlaws makes the right moves 9 times out of 10. So I'd like to see Australia follow suit maybe 12 months later. So when we see a change in America, it's in our rule book the next year. I think it helps, especially with like wings and tires. It keeps the cost down of everything. Like, I don't know why we're making, and this is probably going to be unpopular for a few people, but I don't know why we're making a separate tire for Australia when the costs are so extreme already. It doesn't make, it's not a rocket science to know that if you make 20,000 tires, it's going to be X, and if you can make 40,000, it's going to be cheaper. So, yeah, I think we should all be on the same stuff.
I'm glad you brought a lot of that up, because I don't think people realize, although the cars are very much the same, how different they actually are, and how much it would help the sport if things were the same. I would love to see. I've been wanting. I mean, there's a million videos that I want to make, but one that I've wanted to make for a while is the difference between Australian sprint cars and American sprint cars, and I'm not sure too many other people could probably make that video. So it's something I wanted to explain to our American fans and obviously Australian and New Zealanders, and we got a lot of Canadians that follow us too. A lot of people asking about Gladstone. We've already spoken about that. This Kyle Larson one, I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Would you ever drive a super sedan?
I mean, maybe for a little bit of fun. I'd like to run a modified. The racing is next level in those, and I think it'd be cool to be able to bang doors. You see like Joel Berkeley getting on the high side now too. It's they seem to be racing really cool. So probably modified more than a super sedan, but I'd jump in a super sedan for a bit of fun.
Fair enough. You're on your own.
I think
there. Martin Buckley, would Kyle Larson be competitive straight away over here?
I saw, which is why I wanted to say this. I saw an Instagram story from Kyle, and somebody asked him to come over, and he said he'll only come over if Paul Silver will come over with him, which I guess shows that it's not as easy to come over here and win, even if you're Kyle Larson. You got to have everything. You got to have the car prepared the right way. You got to have a guy on the spanners that knows what you like. And it shows he hops in so many different forms of motorsport and is fast, but he's often in a fast race car as well. So, I'd love to see Larson come out here in a 57 car with Paul and see how they go.
Oh, yeah. No,
but again, the tire difference would be, taking maybe a little bit to get up to speed, but not that long.
Thanks for that, Martin Buckley. Yeah, Kyle's been here 3 times and hasn't won. He was here in the, oh my God, I can't believe forget. Is it Melbourne car, the 68? He came here in the car that they put together for him to race in at Valvoline Raceway, which was like a red, yellow, and black car. I think that was
ECP. I think number 1 car.
Yeah. So I think Moth put that together, and then also raced with Dyson and didn't have a great time at all. It didn't look like. Obviously,
I don't think he made it out of the bit or something.
At the classic, yeah. Yeah. Nice question here by Andy White. Which, if any, of the American drivers' teams impress you the most, and why?
That's a question. I mean, a lot of American teams impressed me. The way they go to the car wash is like a symphony in motion. Like it's they're in and out of there within 15, 20 minutes. The trailer's clean, the cars are washed. Everyone knows
they're good,
duty. Yeah, they're lucky over there. It's there's more full-time guys on the crew. So everyone knows their job and they're in and out. And at the end of the day, it's a job for them. So who wants to be working overtime if you can get in and get your job done quickly?
No, very good. Good answer. Cody, come back to formulas. Any news on the new Speedway in Bordertown? This one's, I guess, not for you, but I've actually inquired with a couple of people down at Bordertown. And I said, hey, people are asking me about Bordertown. Can we get some info on that? And they said, we're still chugging along, working away. So I think there's definitely work still going on there. My personal opinion, I could be completely wrong, but being towards the end of September now, start of the season, I know they wanted to be ready by the end of this year at least. If you watch our Bordertown video that we put out a few months ago, I'm not sure with the amount of work that they had to do. Not saying they're going slow, but with the amount that they had to do, maybe we're starting to realize that they had a bit on. But I would love to update people as much as I can, and I can't wait for racing to start there. It's going to be so good for South Australia because I really think they can thrive. So you need to watch that video, Cody.
Yeah, I'll update myself.
We won't go for too much longer because we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. So how about we wrap it up for in 10 minutes? So that won't be too much longer. How many races would you ideally like to do in Australia? That's from Cameron Stacey.
I mean, I'd love to do 30. I think that's a pretty good number. You're on track enough. You see Hallett, and he would have done the most races last year. I think he started quite early and he finished quite late, and his results showed. You can't hop in and run 10 races a year and think you're gonna win 10. So it makes it hard. But 30 is a pretty good number. I'd always dreamed of doing 40, running World Series, but obviously that's a different story as well.
Let's not get into everything that's wrong with Australian sprint car racing. Belinda Ann McGeorge, she's been a massive supporter of mine for a while. Thanks, Toby Balbon and Cody Moraski, answering my question. Made my son's night. It's what we're here.
No problems.
What else we got? Here we go. Here's a nice one from Robert Hopkinson. Your dad was an amazing driver. What is your most memorable moment with your dad?
Probably
he's a good dude, by the way. Can I cut you off?
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, and sorry to cut you off, but he loves being around your racing. Like, it almost doesn't seem like your dad. He just loves being there.
Yeah, he's my best mate, and I really appreciate the opportunity that 101 gave me, not only to excel my career, but I got to live in a Toto home for 3 months with my dad and one of my best mates. So results aside, it was some of the best time of my life. So to have him being by my side since we started racing juniors and all the way through was really cool. And for him to be able to be with SRV, and Errol was so open about having him there as well, and my whole family, it was so cool.
Yeah, no, that's very. I thought you'd mention obviously something about racing. With your dad. Sorry, whoops. Matt Cowenders. I'm never good with his name. To fill in time before you get a new drive, would you crew for a sprint car team? Matt's a photographer in Queensland. He does a great job, by the way.
Does a great job, yeah. I wouldn't put it off the cards. I'd probably just prefer just to give some knowledge to those who ask. I'm going to be at Toowoomba, so if anyone's watching that needs some help, I'm happy to give it. Like I said, I'd like to be in a race car sooner than later. So being a crew chief for somebody is, a long-term thing, and you got to gel with the driver and the team to get good results. So it's not an overnight success, that's for sure.
Yeah. Mitchell Rogers. Hey guys, with you both being in the States this year and seeing James, I assume he means James McFadden, at work firsthand, would you consider him one of Australia's greatest sprint car drivers? I think he is the face of Australian sprint car racing. I know with my videos, anytime I do with James, and he's always good with me, it blows up. So I think he's the biggest name in Australia. I mean, he's the only full-time Australian outlaw right now. Whether he's the fastest or not, I'm not saying he isn't, but he is, it's, I guess, questionable. But I mean, man, he is good. What do you think?
I think he's the best of the newest generation. Like, there's no doubting that Tatnall and Brazier and, Kerry haven't been as good. But, in this light of social media and this new generation, he's a good face for Australian sprint car racing, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's been very helpful, and especially with our stuff. I mean, I saw him in Knoxville this year. We chatted for about an hour, and I said, "Hey, do you mind doing an interview?" And he was happy to say his thoughts, and I'm so glad he did, because it's the people that listen and don't know things that learn so much, and it helps me to help spread the message and get people to understand what I'm trying to say, I guess.
And he was super helpful with my racing over there. There was a few times he came up to me when I was looking at the racetrack, wondering if I had to turn left or right. I was so confused, and he was an enormous help. So.
No, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear. He is a good dude. What changes do you expect? This is from Andrew Munro. Do you expect sprint car teams to have made to their cars since the end of last season? Would there be too much that people would have really changed?
They just had to add gravel bars to their chassis. So that's just a bar from sort of like your main hoop down to...
From the side coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be probably
cage. Fair enough. You already had them in,
I was welding them in
did you?
when I got back.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Stopped mid-weld. Um,
Mm.
would you race Bundaberg Speedway if it became an option?
Yeah, it seems like look. I love the country racetracks. I've raced out at Roma. I've raced, all sorts of stuff. Obviously with the sedans and then the 500 racing as well.
Mhm.
It's a lot of money to put on a sprint car race, and you need a lot of you need the crowd to be able to for the tracks to be able to get the money back. So if they can put the money up and they're going to get a good crowd, then I'm sure you're going to get a decent car count.
I'm not even going to say that name. I don't know. Would you like to see some of the Ford or Toyota 410 motors make their way over here, as they've both proven very successful?
Yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be too long before you do start seeing these. The All-Star guys are starting to see some teams with the X TSR motors.
Yeah.
Toyota's obviously still pretty new, but I'm sure once they're available for purchase, there's some guys over here that are happy to do some different stuff, and they seem like absolute bullets. Donnie was fast at the King's Royal. The Toyota's been fast with Buddy and James. So, I think they require a different driving style from what I've heard. But
okay, yeah, I spoke to James again off camera about engines, and it was really quite insightful. Probably should have put it on camera, but he told me about him running the Toyota, and it was really interesting to hear. And it's the sort of thing that unless you're actually driving it, I mean, we had, when I was racing, we had identical motors and they still felt completely different, and you knew to expect different things from. So I don't think people realize it's not just bits of metal bolted together. It's there's a lot to an engine and how it works for you. But quick one, it's not really for you. Toby, did you interview Tanner Holmes when you were in the States? So where can we see it? I've been contacting him and chatting to him. It just hasn't worked out for us to do something. We were going to do something at Knoxville. I know a lot of people on here. Obviously, he's got a massive social media following, so I will get to that. Don't worry. And now that he's an outlaw as well, we'll chat to him. What's this? Do you have any outstanding offers in any division, not only sprint car? So yeah, has anything popped up at all in anything else? Or?
No, and I wouldn't expect it to. Each division has drivers at their very best. No Kyle Larson. I couldn't imagine there'd be too many divisions I could hop in and win straight away. So sprint car racing is where has always been a passion of mine. It's where I've devoted a lot of my time. So I'd probably see myself out in sprint car racing.
We won't go too much longer. Do I have COVID? I've been coughing since the Knoxville Nationals. I got an allergy from a cat over there. Yeah, I've been coughing constantly. I've been to the doctors too many times, and I have been properly sick. I can't believe I did that video this past week, to be honest. But I'm getting better slowly. All right, so let's. Here's a quick one: Prime Robbie Farr or Brooke Tatnall? It's a good question.
Probably Robbie Farr. Probably Robbie Farr.
Okay,
I think he had more. I think he had more competition.
Okay.
That's probably out there, and that just came out of my mouth. But I think he had probably more equal equipment to race against.
Okay. I would say.
But Brooke did buy a shirt off me in America, so that was a very humbling experience.
It's definitely Brooke. I spoke to Skip. Obviously, I stayed at Skip Jackson when I was in the States, and I remember him telling me that he spoke to you about Knoxville, telling you to stay smooth.
Yeah, and I was smooth, but apparently I needed to be smoother. No, it's when I first hopped in a sprint car, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, obviously, and I didn't think I could ever figure it out. And I had the same feeling hopping in at Knoxville. We've never had to feel dirty air or anything like that in Australia, so the size and the dirty air was something I've never experienced before.
Cool. All right, a lot of kind of basic questions. Let's take a couple more. Will you guys both be making a attendance? Sorry, I should show it. Well, I guess what they mean is, will we be attending the new Gladstone track? I won't, but I would love to. What about you?
It's a fair drive. I think it's probably 6 hours or something for me. I don't think so.
I'm sure if you're racing, you'd go, but it is a big drive, I guess.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got an offer before we end. Would you hop in my AMCA for a night at T-Bar? There you go. Hey, this has worked out really well. We got you a ride, man.
Yeah, look at us go. Sprint Car Hub working wonders.
I kind of don't want to finish this, but we will soon. Here's the last one from Jake Hodges, who you've mentioned a few times. Out of all the Walmart car parks you stayed in, which is your favorite? Did something happen in a Walmart car park that we're not meant to know? Or
no, we just stayed at a Walmart car park every night because it was easy for me to drive this 20-meter toter and trailer around. It kept Dad busy.
What was that like driving around?
It was cool. It was like, honestly, in so many parts of that was so cool. It's big. It's as wide as a lane. It's, probably 200 mil wider than what we have in Australia, and the lanes are as big. So there was some dicey times through roadworks there, and no, it was cool. We had to fix it before we even got on the road, and by the end of the trip, the door was almost falling off. So it was due for some more repairs, but yeah, it made it all the more fun.
Too easy. All right. I know there's going to be more comments and stuff like that, but I appreciate everyone joining in. We, at one point there, I think we had over or close to 600 people watching at once. We've gone over for an hour and a half. I told you it would be fun. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And it's truly humbling, the support I've had, not only in America, but tonight and, with SRV. Yeah, I can't thank you all enough for the kind words, the encouragement, the support. It was really cool to read over there in America, and it's cool to know I'm supported over here as well in this time. So I hope that we can be back at a racetrack, sign some autographs, give some posters out, hopefully put some exciting racing on. But yeah, I've through these last probably 4 months, I've really appreciated the position I'm in with this sport. And if I don't find a race car soon, hopefully I'll be doing something with the sport in the right direction.
Awesome, man. That was really cool. I really, truly hope that you do find something, and I'm sure you will. You got a lot of talent, and I think just drive and determination and passion and commitment to push on with it. So hopefully something works out for you. Hopefully this video was good for you, and maybe, who knows, maybe you'll get a few more fans out of it. But at the very least, it's Thursday night. On Saturday night, we go racing at Toowoomba. I'll see you there. Maybe we can have you on camera as well and talk to you throughout the night, but on pay-per-view. So yeah, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. And I love what Sprint Car Hub's doing. And thanks to everyone for joining in. All the questions, it's been cool.
Too easy. Have a good one, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Cody Moraski. Thanks very much for that, Cody. That was cool. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to him, and I thought it was pretty cool. Different software and different program tonight to run this video. So again, I can't believe the numbers that we got watching live at once. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to watch on clayperview.com or on the app, the Clayperview app, on Saturday night. I think it starts at 4:30. There's about 6 or 7 classes. It's 10 grand to win, a huge field, the biggest field ever of sprint cars at Hi-Tec Oils Toowoomba Speedway. I can't wait for it. I'm so proud to be part of it. There's such a vibe. And then obviously there's 2 nights the next weekend as well that we'll be there for. So we'll be doing a wrap-up video, at least from the first night, and we got something special for the next weekend. I hope you guys have enjoyed this live video. Let me know in the comments if you're up to this point. If you want to see more of that style of video with interviews, or if you'd prefer if it's just me with talking about different bits and pieces and overlays or what. But thank you so much to everyone who's supporting Sprint Car Hub. We've had that many orders come through tonight and today since our big video that we put out just 2 nights ago about Eastern Creek Speedway, and I really can't thank you enough. Someone just said you sound crook. I am crook. I'm not great. So, but I wanted to do this stuff, and I'm so excited for the start of the season. So it sounds like everyone wants to see more of it. Thank you very much, everyone. And we will see you on Clay Per View on Saturday night. Have a good night, everyone.